nonsense like this? And this is what makes this decision with these Spanish signs and vehicle even more worrying. They're saying, Venezuela saying Venezuela argues that Guyana does not have sovereign rights over the areas. That is these oil blocks, right? So any activity there must be done in agreement with Venezuela. Venezuela said they got to give us permission to action oil blocks in we land, in we Essequibo, that they are claiming. And again, oh my Lord, we get some morons decide in all of this. Well, let me put it this way. Let me be fair to them. They might have made the decision before. Not might have. They made the decision before this. But now that you have had this saber rattling from the Venezuelan president, this is even more reason for you to say, hey, this was a mistake, and let me reverse this decision. This is even more reason. You have justification now for doing so. So if you are looking for a way to reverse the decision and to save face, this is it. The Venezuelan president has given you that, and you should grasp it with both hands. Following a statement by the Venezuelan president, they call this the Reuters article. I'm reading it. Reuters. They say Ali, referring to President Ali, last week said in Washington, the territorial dispute should be resolved through the ICJ. And he's quoted here as saying, we are very clear. We've allowed this matter to go to the ICJ, and we have continuously encouraged Venezuela to participate fully in the process for both parties to respect the outcome of the process. And then this article reminds us that the confrontation in 2018 prompted Venezuelan's Navy to intercept a drill ship hired by Exxon to explore near the maritime border. People, they're forgetting all of this, that Venezuela evicted exploration vehicle in the thing, that Venezuela has been accused of making incursions across the border into Guyana, robbing people and doing all sort of things. And they forget that, and this is what they're going to do. This is what they're going to do, and they do not see. I mean, we know that they're stupid. We know that many of them and get much brain power. We know. And that is even more reason why when these things come up, you must sit and discuss. Put it out there in the public. You talk about transparency and all of that. Right? You talk about transparency. We talk about the Central Intelligence Committee, or whatever they call it, a national security advisor, and all this people just drawing pay under false pretense. You want to tell me that they saw this and they agreed to this? You want to tell me that this thing now having happened, let's say they did not agree, they did not know, they don't have the gumption, they don't have the balls to stand up and say that this is wrong and this should be reversed? They don't. And you know, the good thing about this is that I have noted that following this statement, because he made another statement too, that is the Venezuelan president. He made another statement. The fact that the OAS, that the Organization of African States, and the US have come out in support of Guyana's territorial integrity. They came out with statements. Yesterday, the Venezuelan president fired back and talk all sort of things about these people. In other words, he is doubling down and saying that this place, this Venezuela, this Essequibo area belongs to Venezuela. And they are going to object strongly, as they have been doing, to any development in that area. And my God, our people are sitting down quietly and allow that to happen. We are sitting quietly and allow that to take place. This is aggression by Venezuela. And remember, aggression don't have to be in the form of guns and bombs and warship and all of that. That doesn't have to only take that form. But can you imagine investors now, when they say the rattling, investors are now reluctant to invest in these areas? And what happens? We are the ones, we Guyanese, who are going to punish because of what is going on. And again, I say, in light of all of this, our brilliant people, I hope you recognize the sarcasm here, these brilliant people are going to make such a decision, which to my mind will lend legitimacy to the claim by Venezuela. And I repeat again, 5 police divisions, regions, division 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9 are in Essequibo, the area claimed by Venezuela. So you are now going to put the police, have Spanish in the police vehicles and Spanish signs in the police station. My Lord. CC, have a go, man. Have a go.
And let me get back to the Vice President's statement. And I'm going to repeat it. He's talking about giving Venezuela a pathway through our waters to the Atlantic. And what was he talking about here? He's talking about the Cayuni, the Mazzaroni, the Pataro, the Rupununi, and the Essequibo, straight through to the Atlantic Ocean, where all the oil business going on there. Ridiculous. And there's a wall of silence, as you mentioned, with the security people. Perhaps they're not security advisor. They're on the place, running to Washington and running about the place. That we need to be serious. Venezuelan is aggressive, and they're talking about aggression, and you get aggression in various forms. Various forms. If in the Cayenne and all, the miners cannot traverse that waterway at will. They're stopping them and they gotta pay and all kind of story in Guyana. So the whole thing is that we already started to give up. And maybe that's what gain the president of Venezuela spunks because he'll have access, he'll have the pathway through our waters in the Cayenne, Mazzaroni, Pataro, Rupununi, Essequibo, and straight into the Atlantic where the economic activities is booming.
Yeah. And let me say this. Let me say this too. Perhaps people don't realize it, but this issue, this claim, this spurious claim by Venezuela to Guyana territory, this is one uniting issue in Venezuela. My understanding is even the opposition parties and all the political parties are on one with this, that Essequibo belongs to Venezuela. So we must unite. We must unite. We know Essequibo belongs to Guyana. The records are there, right? The matter is engaging the International Court of Justice. We have a strong case. Venezuela resisted going to this this forum for the longest while. They resisted. They claimed that they did not have this forum do not have jurisdiction over this issue. In April this year, it was ruled that yes, we have jurisdiction. So let's hear the matter. And they are continue to be aggressive in this claim that Essequibo belongs to Venezuela. And this is what we are doing. As I said, even in schools, they teach it in Venezuela that Essequibo is Venezuela. They teach that. They have maps showing that Essequibo is part of Venezuela. And here we are putting Spanish signs now on these vehicles, and we think that's such a good thing. And as according to the police, that is to increase efficiency. And according to the Minister Ben, the police, what he said? The police, a little trial, and all the vehicles are marked. What trial? What are you trialing? What are you trialing? All the vehicles all the stations are to get these signs, and you're trialing. That is what the minister is quoted in Newsroom saying. It's a little trial. Well, the trial should end immediately. The trial should end immediately, or there should be another trial. If this trial with these signs don't end immediately, then there should be another trial. And you figure out what this other trial should be. Right? And let me go on to tell you, I honestly don't know what these people are thinking. There is currently a war between Ukraine and Russia. Russia invaded Ukraine. And do you know what one of the claims, what one of the claim is? They claim that they have a large Russian-speaking community in part of this Ukraine area, and that this Russian-speaking community have been complaining of being bullied and being treated badly by the Ukrainians, by Ukrainians. So therefore, Putin said that that's one of the reasons he advanced for going into Ukraine and start the war, killing how much thousand people and so on. Let me tell you what it says. In February 2022, Putin claimed that Ukrainians and Russians are, and here what he says here, Ukrainians and Russians are one people. He sees Ukrainians and Russians as brothers and brother nations, and say that because Russia is the older brother, it should be in charge. He also falsely claimed that Russian speakers in Ukraine were under attack and the invasion is to protect them. That is what Putin claimed when he invaded Ukraine. Can we not see something similar if we allow this rubbish to happen down the road? Where we have a large influx of Spanish-speaking people, especially in the Essequibo region that is claimed by Venezuela. And then at some stage, they will then claim that they are being treated badly. After what Putin said, they're under attack and treated badly. And then Venezuela using that as a justification to say they come and take over Essequibo. Can we not see these things? Are we not looking to see what is happening in the other parts of the world? And let me say, as I said, you know, they got a story of the Trojan horse. You almost read that thing, you know, the Trojan horse. Troy, I think it was. And with this large influx of Spanish-speaking people as claimed by the minister, the fact that Venezuela has laid claim to 2/3 of Guyana, I have a strong suspicion, and I show any right-thinking people, the same security people. You would have had a lot of Trojan horses, a lot of people coming across as refugees. They are not. They are agents. They are coming to do all the recce, do all the maps and all them type of thing and feeding it back. And here we are going even further to accommodate them. We don't even have a proper system of vetting these people. We don't have a proper system of vetting them, and yet still we're now leaning back. We're now leaning back to accommodate even further with the language in police stations and all that. People, open your eyes and see what is happening. See what can happen. We can wake up one morning and see the whole Essequibo. Because I don't think it will take much. Because we have, let me be frank, we have a military. I don't know that they can really put up any type of resistance, especially since the man in charge does get emotional distress. A politician made a statement about him in parliament, and he reports that he's emotionally distressed and filed cybercrime charge against the politician. So can you imagine if a bomb drop outside in the Atlantic Ocean there, close to the office, what could happen? What could happen? There's not emotional distress. There's all kind of other distress. That is what we have. That is the reality. That is the reality. So I am saying again that this thing should not be taken lightly by all patriotic Guyanese. Patriotic Guyanese, let's stand up and let's demand that this decision be reversed. Let's demand. This is one issue we should unite with, and we should remember what Dave Martin sang. Not a blade of grass, not one cuirass, not a blade of grass. Venezuela, carry yours. Guyana, or Essequibo belongs to Guyana. And all patriotic Guyanese should stand up and make that point and tell the government that this foolish and perhaps even treasonous decision to have the signs painted or the word in Spanish at the side of the vehicle and police stations with Spanish language. No. Guyana is an English-speaking country. And not like what they sidewinder say are traditional. We are an English-speaking country. And all signs should be in English. And if foreigners come, they must assimilate. In other words, they must fall in and cover down. When foreigners come, I could understand these signs at the airport because you have, if you're in transit, you might want to see different languages to guide people where to go. But in Guyana, in the police station again, let me tell you how foolish this thing is. You put in inquiries office. Let me put up back the sign. You put in inquiries office. The word inquiries office at Kovanjan in welcome to Kovanjan police station. And then they have, I think is the first one must be Spanish. The next one look like Portuguese. They get one look like Chinese and some other language. You have all them languages there. So therefore, you're saying that the one at the bottom inquiries office is not going to be recognized and understood by persons who come into the office. So you need to get them other language. Yeah. So when the man come in, the man speaking anyone, them other language, and he reaches out to whoever in the station. Can they understand what he's saying? Can they interact and relate to him? This is sheer stupidness, you know. This is sheer foolishness, or as an old inspector of mine, Nyland Welch, would say, nonsenseness. This is nonsenseness. It makes no sense. And they talk about strategic plan and all sort of crap this propaganda unit came out with. All sort of nonsense. Again, I say we must demand. We must demand. The Attorney General the other day said I ranted and wailed over, so I'm going to rant and wail over this. I'm going to rant and wail over this, and all Guyanese, patriotic Guyanese, should join me to rant and wail over the fact that we have Spanish word at the side of the police vehicle and Spanish and other languages in the police station. We are an English-speaking country, and therefore all our signs should be in English. All our signs. Nothing wrong with trying to teach policemen, as they say, Spanish and Portuguese and Mandarin. Nothing wrong with trying to teach them. Nothing wrong. So they can perhaps relate to people who speak those languages. Nothing is wrong with that. But to have the signs at the side of the police vehicle and in the police station is a ridiculous, is an absurdity, as a writer said today in Sabrok News. It's an absurdity. And again, you're insulting the intelligence of these people, because you're saying too that when they see police in English on the side of the vehicle, they can't recognize that there's a police vehicle. And when they see the police station welcome, they can't, even though they might recognize it because they have what can spell wrong. Even when they see that, they cannot recognize. You're insulting the people there. I'm sure many of those persons, as I've said, police vehicles in particular, is not only about the writing at the side, it's about the color of the vehicle, it's about the light at the top and all of that. And I am saying here now that this issue, if it is not reversed, we should call for Ben. It's about time for Ben to go home. It's about time for the squatter to go back to another 55 and catch the distance. Because this is now a national. They do all kind of rubbish, you know. They do all sort of nonsense. And Guyanese have been quiet. This one, you know, impacts on our sovereignty. It impacts on who we are as a country, who we are as a nation. And therefore, everyone, patriotic ones, should come out and call on them to reverse it. And in the absence of it being reversed, we should call and Ben see something that he did in China. Maybe call for make sure he stay there. He could learn Chinese right there. He and Anasani and the deputy, the man they call deputy commissioner operation. These imposters masqueraded. They are not deputy commissioner operations. They have an assistant commissioner who's performing the duties of. We come back to it again. A deputy commissioner who's performing the duties of. Or assistant commissioner rather, who's performing the duties of. He's not a deputy commissioner. Check Article 211, which tells you what is the process. Ask Nandalal. What is Nandlal? What is the process to become a deputy commissioner? As spelled out. He make the nice about Apiro and them writing and calling Budram and calling Brutus and them deputy commissioner. And they know that they have not gone through that process. You see how hypocritical these persons are? You see how hypocritical they are? So, CC, let me bring you in for your closing remarks, man. God, this